Okay, it's the day after Christmas, and here's Offended Outcast, The Decline of America, How Hustle Culture is Destroying Our Homes, Families, and Future. I watched half of this and decided it was definitely something I wanted to react to, so I'm going to rewind to the beginning and do a reaction on it. I'm still doing the point the camera at the screen technique. I am going to start doing reactions without this technique. This is just what I'm doing for now, and my channel is real small and I'm still trying to decide on some things. Okay,
Welcome back to Offended Outcast. Today, the decline of America as we know it. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is what I'm talking about. The hustle culture has gotten so bad. The corporate grind has gotten so bad that we can't take care of our own places anymore. We're too busy working day after day, day in, hours and hours every week, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And we wonder why we can't take care of our own properties anymore. Well, it's because we're too busy. We're working all the time. This is what our economy has done to us. This is what the corporations have done to us. This is what the system has done to us. This is the end result. Now, granted, this is just an old house, but I wanted to use this as an example as to what we're seeing, the slow decline. As we're working all the time, chasing the American dream, the dollar, this is what happens. We don't have time to take care of our property. We hardly got time to cut our grass, do the maintenance on our houses. This is what they're doing to us.
Yeah, I wanted to comment. See, these houses like that, there've always been houses like this out in the country, and usually not very many. And I remember that they were, especially the ones that were like old enough to be considered like antique houses that were falling apart. They were these really good opportunities for photographers. Like, local photographers would always know where they all were, and they would all go out there and try to take, scenic photographs of this beautiful old house starting to fall apart. And there weren't very many of them, that was like in the 90s or so. And there started being more and more of these. And in the various places where I would live, if you went out of town, you'd see them. Almost never in town, but now there's more and more in town in the various places where I have lived or where I've gone. See more and more of these in town, and often they're empty, and sometimes they're full of vagrants. They got squatters in them, but yeah, there's more and more of these, and it's not just because people can't take care of them. It's a whole bunch of different reasons, but yeah, pretty much all the reasons come down to major lifestyle changes for the entire American people and major priority changes. And he's going to talk about some of these things right now.
They're destroying the very fabric of our country. I'm hoping you guys are seeing this, because this is what we're facing. Every day, everywhere we go, we see more of this everywhere we go. This is what America's heading to. This is what it's going to look like in another 20 years. They're grinding us up. They're chewing us up and they're spitting us out. It's turned into an extraction machine. That's what it's come down to. Taking our money and giving us nothing in return. Where's the value in life of living if this is the end result? If this is the end of my 50 years of living on this earth, is it living in a broken down old house?
Yeah. So see, this guy is talking about one of the things that happens, and this is a real long-term process, and it happens in a lot of societies, which is that the rich if they don't have enough limits on what they can do, and sometimes those limits are laws, and sometimes they're just the fact that the poor get way too disgruntled, and it's it's inconvenient. You can't get enough work out of them or whatever. So there's a lot of different restrictions that can be put on the rich by society or the government or by other things. But if the rich don't have enough restrictions on them, there's nothing to prevent them from squeezing people more. And I know in the 80s, the big thing was what they called corporate raiders. People that they take over a corporation, they dismantle it into pieces, and they'd sell off the pieces. And the one person that did that would get rich, but society as a whole would suffer. And as long as that was a profitable thing to do and an easy thing to do, there would be plenty of people doing it and eating up, the companies that were actually producing real resources and not just this money. Money is a faith item. That doesn't mean it's not real, but it does mean that it fluctuates depending on the faith people have in it. And the foundation under money is things like houses and businesses and people with skill sets and all kinds of stuff like that. And if the foundation underneath the money starts rotting away, the money itself will not have enough faith in it, and then all kinds of weird things can happen, like the hyperinflation that a lot of people are saying might hit us, but there's other things that might hit us instead that are also bad, like catastrophic deflation. A lot of people say, oh, it'd be great if prices go down, but if they go down, if they actually permanently go down, that means Great Depression kind of stuff. So if you got to choose between hyperinflation or Great Depression, that's not good. What you want to do is not get to the place where you have to make that choice in the first place. And so this guy's going to talk a little bit more. I'm going to listen to him talk.
Now, granted, this is not mine, but I wanted to use this as an example to make my point. This is what they're doing to us. When are we going to stand up and say, this is enough, we're not taking it anymore, and we're going to do something about it? We're at that point, because this is the end result, guys. This is where we're going to be if we don't turn around and start doing something about this. If we don't start talking about this, getting this out in the forefront, and pushing back, this is going to be the end result. The decline of America. That's where we're at. And I just can't hammer the point enough. I drive around here where I live, and I see more of this and more of this every day. And I drove by this place today, and I said, I want to talk about this. I want to show this. I want people to see this is what's happening in our country. This is what they want. This is what they want for us.
Yeah, look at that.
This is their vision for America. Sure, we see all the plastic cities and all the bright, shiny lights in the cities, but you get out here in the rural America, this is what you're seeing. They've crushed the rural America. People out here, they're not doing good. People are hurting. Jobs are scarce. You go fill out 300 applications and you find out none of them are hiring. The only thing they're doing is data farming us. Getting our data, getting our information. Why? We all know.
Yep. So, yeah, this has been a huge problem, and there used to be some laws or regulations against it. But the problem of ghost jobs and just putting out, false things either for data farming or for other purposes because one reason people might do it is because they want to reserve the job for a particular applicant. and like maybe nepotism, for example, or maybe H-1B visas. And so they want to pretend they're offering it to the general public, but they'll just reject everyone. And then, of course, data farming, that's very lucrative to do, and it's not against the laws or the regulations anymore, so there's plenty of that going on. And then, of course, there's something that I hear a lot of people talk about that they suspect is going on in their own workplace, where, someone goes to another job, they moved on, and their job is empty, and the company starts advertising for it, but nobody can get hired. And people working there, they keep hearing about all the people that are applying, but just no one gets hired. And of course, the person who's gone that has the empty position, that workload is still there, and it's getting piled on top of the other workers. And that's what the company wants, is that they don't want to pay for that position, but they want the extra work to get done, so they just pile it on top of the other workers. And then if they can advertise the position, they can pretend they're trying to fill it. And then if they just pile the work on the other workers for a year or two, and the work still ends up getting done because people are pulling so many extra hours and stuff, the company can say, oh, well, I guess we didn't need a position for that workload because somehow it's getting done anyway. So, and that's one of the ways that companies will shut down jobs and try to get by on fewer workers, and that's something that happens. There's a whole bunch of things that happen with these ghost jobs that no one can get filled. But yeah, data farming is one of the big ones that's exploded in recent years. Tons of data farming there.
Know why? It's about control. It's always coming down to that. This is what they want for America. This is their vision for America. I mean, here we are. You're working 80 hours a week. Not only this, look at what happened to the decline of the American family. We had, back in my day, Dad went to work, Mom stayed home. Then all of a sudden, now we're at the point in our lives where it takes two people working in the home in order to make a living. So I wanted to bring this up, because this is what's causing this. Here we are, we're sitting here. Who's got time to be able to cut the grass if they're working 80-hour work weeks? By the time you get home, you're already burned out and tired and burned up. Now you look at the cost of a new roof. We all know what that's going to cost, thousands and thousands of dollars. This is the issue we're facing today. So I just wanted to stress to you, I think, it's time for change, guys. We're going to have to start finding a way to push back against this, or they're going to ruin this country with their greed. So I want to ask you, and drop a comment down below, how many places like this are near you? When you go drive around your community, in your rural areas, how many places are you seeing like this? Because this is the question. So I know you're seeing it. This is what's happening here. Here we are. This is what they want. This is what they want for America. They're crushing our farmers. They're crushing our workers. Eventually, we got to say enough is enough, guys. This has to change, because this is just wrong. I can't wrap my head around it enough.
I agree that this stuff is really wrong. It reminds me of this one story that I've heard that it seems to be a favorite story for preachers to put in sermons. It's probably got a source out there somewhere that they're finding it in, and to put it in their various sermons. But I've heard it. So the way that preachers will talk about it is that there was this one restaurant, I think it's usually a clam chowder restaurant in the story. Clam chowder restaurant, and it's got a huge reputation, makes loads of money, and the customers are happy. And the owner, he retires or dies off, one of those, and his son takes over. And the son at first runs it just the same, and is, hugely profitable, hugely popular, hugely good reputation. But the son figures out that if you add some more water to the clam chowder, make it a little bit more watery, you can suddenly get some more profit, and the amount of customers doesn't really seem to decrease. So he's like, I just created money out of nowhere. And then a little while later, he does it again, and maybe he removes some of the clams from the clam chowder, and he thinks, oh, I did it again. So he keeps doing that, and of course, at some point, the customer loyalty becomes broken. The clam chowder is not delicious, it's not chunky, it's all watery, there's not much in it. This guy's trying to sell water to them, water with a bit of food in it, and they go elsewhere. And so the son, he thinks, oh, I'll just put it back the way it was. Well, it doesn't go back because the customer loyalty has been broken. Their faith is gone, and they won't come back. And a lot of the things that the important rich people are squeezing in America, they kind of think they can do this linear squeeze, that they can just get more money out of people. They can make the planned obsolescence worse and worse. They can make it harder and harder to repair your own stuff, like all the things that Louis Rossmann talks about. They think they can just keep doing that, and every time they do it, they can squeeze more money. But there's going to be a point at which the squeezing does not work anymore. Maybe there's some little tiny businesses that start up to challenge the monopolies, and they're 10 times better, and everyone flocks to them at once. Maybe they run out of people to squeeze. Maybe the people they're squeezing can't get enough wages or enough debt to pay for the stuff anymore. There's all kinds of ways it can break, and maybe many different ways at the same time. But there's ways that America can break, and if you allow situations where people get squeezed and money gets put as more important than the foundation that is behind money, things like houses and people with skills and businesses that function well and deliver a product well. If the foundation underneath money is getting destroyed, there becomes a point at which it all starts breaking down. And it's probably already started to break down somewhat. And that's something you can see in these houses. It's a visible symbol. And I'll let him talk some more.
I see more and more of this everywhere I go. What are you seeing in your areas? Tell me what you're experiencing. What's the new roof costing you? Are you able to cut your grass the way you want? Are you able to get the house painted when it needs? Are you be able to fix that, to call a plumber and get your sink fixed? I mean, they're pricing us out. This is what's going on. And I can't take it anymore. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like the direction that we're going. This has got to change. Anyways, this is where I'm at with this, Here we are. Look where we're at. Rural America. And that's what we're looking at. This is their vision for America. This is what they want. This is what they want to take us to. We're looking like a third world country. We can do better, people. We can do better. And it's going to take all of us pushing back to get there. We're going to have to stand up and say enough is enough. This has got to stop, guys. This is wrong. This is the vision of America. Is this what we want for our country? Is this what our founding fathers thought that's the American dream? Work yourself to death and end up dying in a house like that? But here's the next question I got for you. Maybe you can drop this in the comments down below. We have more houses sitting like this empty all over this country. You know it, I know it. More houses that are sitting empty than we do actually have of homeless people in this country. So why cannot we develop a program to where we can get people to fix up these houses and start putting people in these houses and give them a leg up and give them a chance to, give them a chance to rise. That's what it's about, helping other people. We have gotten away from being compassionate people because...
Yeah, I think like 2 or 3 decades ago, if we had a homeless problem as bad as the homeless problem right now, we probably would do stuff like that. We'd identify houses that are abandoned and run down, probably not ones quite this bad, but and the homeless people, we'd say, hey, we'll give you a bunch of tools and some instructions, and we'll help you fix this up, and then 10 of you guys can live in this little tiny house, even though it's really little, and then we'll try to get you jobs, and then when you get on your feet, you move out of this house, and but you had it for a while, and something like that, and but it's gotten to the point where these houses, it's cheaper to knock them down and to build a new house from scratch, and the people that you might want to volunteer fix it up, most of them don't have the skills to do it. And the repair guys and the house renovation guys, they're getting more expensive all the time. And the do-it-yourselfers that fix up their own house, they're getting older and older, and the skills aren't being passed down to the young people. And then we got the culture of young people has actually been for 2 or 3 decades to be that you gotta move around chasing the good jobs. If you do buy a house, you don't maintain it because, hey, in 2 years or 5 years, there's going to be a job that you got to chase that's in another town or another state, and you're going to have to sell your house and go there. So the maintenance is disincentivized, and then the home builders, they've learned how to do the planned obsolescence real big time, and so even the new homes just fall apart faster and faster than ever they used to. So the whole system has got a lot of different layers of corruption in it that are really old, and the corruption is starting to get quite ripe. It's really ripening.
Because we're too worried about chasing the dollar. It's time to get back to giving help again in this country. I'm not talking about federal dollars here. I'm talking about local initiatives. Here, how many houses do we have like this that are just sitting empty, that could be worked on, repaired, brought back to code, brought back to a point where a person can actually live in it again? Yes, it's in a rural area. But you get my point, what I'm trying to say here. This is an important issue. To me, I think this is an opportunity where we can show we can do something about this. And it's not taking federal dollars. I'm not talking about raising taxes or anything like that. I'm talking about finding old properties like this, some in better shape, some in worse shape. Taking a little local initiative and bringing these places back, refurbishing them to where people can use these places and give it to these people who are running around here homeless. Some people are just looking for a place to stay. I've known people that have lived in places like this because they needed a place to stay. I have been in this position myself before. Anyways, this is what I wanted to talk about today. I want to encourage you guys to start pushing back. Start talking about this. Start sharing this issue. Let's get this out here. Let's change the narrative. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Let's rise together.
Okay, well, this guy, I reacted to one of his things before. So this is Offended Outcast, And look, he's already up to over 50,000. Yes, it's been only a little while, but he's rising fast. People like the stuff that he is saying. Yes, okay, so that is an end. Oh, but let's take a little peek. Yeah, yeah, there you are. Yeah, yeah, there you are. You're the best one. Yes, you're the best tuxedo girl.